when the market's confused. Steve strolls in with a chart and some probable news. Troy fires up Omega like, let's model this mess, while traders at home whisper, please help me stress test. It's the show where the candles dance. Volatility takes its chance. Steve says rules, Troy says math. Together they chart a hilarious path. Grab your lunch, don't be late. They'll tell you why the market's weird again. Oh, great. They're calling out levels, volatility rebels, equity drama, and index devils. One guy's calm, the other's pressing buttons fast. Is this bullish? Is this bearish? Ah, depends on the past. So tune in, laugh, and maybe learn to. These two make the chaos look almost doable for you. Every Tuesday at noon, hit that stream real quick, because markets are wild, and these two are slick.
Steve, how the heck are you?
It is great to hear the intro song again. It's been 3 weeks, Troy. I missed you.
I missed it. Sorry for the delay. That was my fault. Had some personal business to attend to, but we are back and back in full. I'm rocking the navigation hat.
Love it. Looking good. Looking great.
It looks great. It feels great. If anybody just wants swag, I mean, I think navigation's the place to be. For anything else, trading second, swag first is the way I look at it. Steve.
Absolutely.
So how's trading going for you today?
Pretty good. Took one day trade this morning in Tesla, booked a couple thousand on that. Just took some puts at kind of as it failed to recover right below previous day low, right around that 346.5 level. I took puts, rode those down for about 40 minutes or so. And then when it started to bounce, I got out of those. So that was a good one. I did put on a 1 DTE iron condor, which the market is all of a sudden bouncing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's news or something, because
that's definitely a news candle.
Yeah,
definitely a news candle.
Yeah, well, breaking news live on the show. There's no news to be had yet, but the candles are breaking. Say that.
Breaking news. It looks like the war is over based on that candle, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're waiting to see. My account does not know if it is up thousands of dollars or down thousands of dollars.
Right. Yeah, if you have any four-legged spreads on, they are trading 18 different prices right now.
Yeah. The Tesla was a good trade. Tesla's a good trade.
Yeah, that's the 1 DTE with that bounce. It just went up about 24%, so that's good.
Yeah.
But that's really all I've done. I've just been I've been doing my BICs, but I'm really more just in kind of wait and see mode. If you're watching the replay of this, today is the day of the ultimatum at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Trump's ultimatum with Iran. So something's going to happen. Nobody knows what.
Something's going to happen. For those who have been paying attention, the latest this morning, the best tweet I'd heard. Best is relative, but a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. That's President Trump. So here we are. Steve, you have been trading DCs for a long time, but you have been doing something interesting with them. Can you give the thesis of what you've been doing recently with them?
Yeah, so I call it the DC time machine. And the reason is because you start with a double calendar. And then once you get a little bit of profit, you can do what I call a transformer order, which is essentially selling another order against it to transform it into a risk-free iron condor. And so I call it the DC time machine because we're starting with the DC and then we're pumping out risk-free iron condors all over the place. And so that's kind of the high level of what we do. There's a bunch of different several different variations of that and different things you can do, but that's kind of the high level.
You have been working on some tools for that, and I wanted to see if you'd be willing to share your screen and look at some of the stuff that we've been doing. If it's okay, I'll switch over to your screen.
Yeah, so I've started to go down the Claude rabbit hole, Troy.
Oh no. Okay.
I've resisted as long as I could, but it's just there's too much. I have too many ideas, and really what it came down to is I've been working with one of our members who's a Option Omega guy as well, Joseph T. Big shout out to Joseph T.
Shout out Joseph T.
He's a whiz, man. I mean, an absolute whiz with this stuff. But he essentially, I was kind of working with a third-party developer on this, and then you know, it was going to be like a $200 a month subscription software, which I was going to pay because I think it's a pretty helpful tool. And then you know, Joseph kind of showed me what he had been doing, and so been working with him. So essentially, it's Joseph doing all the heavy lifting and me saying, hey, this would be cool if we did this. That's how the partnership has worked so far.
Perfect.
But he talked me into downloading Claude, getting a subscription to Claude, and I've been messing around with it on my own and trying to learn. I'm trying to learn right now. I've never been a coder, never been a software developer, programmer in any sense of the imagination. And so I'm just trying to play around with it and learn as I go. But this is what we've created. Sticking with the Back to the Future theme of the time machine, the tool is called Flux, aka the flux capacitor. If you remember the Back to the Future movies, Troy, one of my favorite series of all time. So, so Flux is the tool, and essentially what this is doing is it's a tool to help you monitor the implied volatility. If you've traded calendars or double calendars or diagonals at all, we all know that it's the relationship between the front implied volatility or the front dated options, the ones closest to expiration, and the back dated options. We want the front to decay faster than the back, or said the other way, we want the back dated options to expand faster than the front, right? Either of those is beneficial. And as long as price stays in the range of our structure, that's when we can benefit and make a profit. So what this tool does is the display shows the front implied volatility and the back implied volatility. In this case, the front is this purplish blue line. The back is the dotted green line. And then the orange line is kind of the most important part. That is the ratio between the two. So it's essentially the front IV divided by the back IV gives you that ratio. And so the idea here is, like, for example, and then over here, I've got the different expirations. So right now I have the 3-day options as my front, the 6-day options as my back. And so that's what's being displayed here. And so really the idea here is I wanted a tool to where I could see this relationship. And if you think about it, from an entry standpoint, if we can get in when we get a kind of a spike or a move higher in this ratio, or really forget about just the spike. If we can get into a position when we see the ratio decline after we've gotten into the position, that's where we're going to benefit. So if I'm sitting here monitoring this, and especially if I'm looking to get in like a shorter term duration, like a 3-6, if I see like a spike in this ratio, that's typically when I'm going to perk up and potentially enter. Because then if it reverts kind of back to the mean, if that ratio goes back down after I enter, that's when I can benefit. So for example, last Thursday, right? It was the Thursday before Good Friday. So that was the last trading day last week. I was watching this and I got a big spike in the ratio, and I entered a double calendar, and 13 minutes later, I was able to flip it into a risk-free iron condor.
Heck yeah.
So that's kind of the idea, is having this as a monitoring tool. For me, I like to use it as an entry tool, but then it also kind of gives you that visual to, as you're managing the trade. If you see it kind of go underwater, you can kind of see why. And so those are kind of the top two things that I'm using it for currently.
That's pretty sweet. I mean, have you noticed anything surprising from the data that has come back, like the ratios, um, things that you hadn't thought of before with calendars that you had seen?
Not necessarily. I mean, but before I was always just I was basically manually noting the implied volatility levels on my option chain. I'd write them down and then I'd watch that. And so this kind of does all that for you. So I wouldn't say there's anything surprising.
Yeah.
Um, it's just a very convenient way to look at this. And this is the intraday visual where it updates every 5 minutes. You could also switch over to a 5 day where this just shows kind of the end of day data points, or the 20 day to get a little bit of a visual of the last 20 days. I primarily focus on the intraday stuff, especially if I'm trading, but you can see what just happened in the last 5 minutes. This ratio really dipped. We had that spike up in price. We had that crush, that vol crush that just happened. And then now we're seeing that ratio start to decline. So if you were in any double calendars, or specifically this 3-6, which I actually have one modeled up. In fact, let me pull this up and I'll show you. This thing was essentially, I'm not in this trade, but I had it modeled because I was looking to potentially enter. This is oh, actually, no, this is not a 3-6. This is a, wait. Yeah, 3-6. April 10, April 13. This was essentially close to break even or up a little bit of money, and now it's up $900. If I was in it, this is just modeled.
Yeah.
And so you can see that visually on here, where I kind of had it modeled all morning, where the ratio is just kind of grinding higher to sideways, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got this dip, and then all of a sudden you see the profit come in on the double calendar.
That's pretty dang sweet. Pretty dang sweet. Are you, with something like this, does this give you any confidence? Like right now, it's not confidence, but like right now, I know on some of the conversions, ones you're doing, you're trying not to hold anything overnight. Would this, if it was spiking, or say you had it on and the ratio was going up into the close of the day, would you hold it overnight, or would this give you confidence to hold it overnight? Would you think, no, I'm still going to stick to the plan right now, like exiting win, lose, or draw at the end of the day?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that could kind of work two ways, right? If you see it starting to spike into the end of the day, that might cause more concern than anything. Like, oh boy, if this thing keeps spiking, that's going to go against you.
True.
So there's, you could look at it both ways, I guess. But so yeah, to reiterate kind of what you said is I'm holding double calendars. I'm holding very little double calendars overnight. I'm trying to put them on in the morning and get them flipped into a risk-free iron condor by the end of the day. Depending on the situation, what's going on, I have been holding some overnight, but let's just say I won't be holding any overnight tonight, Troy.
That seems to me, now listen, I'm a layman. That seems to me like wise advice, that if anybody has a bunch of long Vegas stuff on, maybe tonight isn't the night that you would hold. Or I would posit, Steve, even if you might be short Vega, you might not want to hold it overnight either. It might not be the night.
Anything that loses from a big move, I would probably hesitate to hold overnight. But going back to your question, would this give me confidence to hold overnight at the end of the day if it was doing anything? I haven't really thought about it from that perspective. So I would say I don't use it, or at least at this point, I have not used it for something like that.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. Well, that's a pretty cool tool. I mean, it's to be able to visualize IVs and visualize ratios is something that, I think a lot of people, because you couldn't in the past without really having to manually do it, it's been harder for people to learn Greeks and trade Greeks. So tools like this are really helpful, I think. Are you handing this out to people, or is this something in your community that you're going to share with people?
Yeah, so this is hot off the press today. We were kind of, Joseph T is awesome. Like he literally kind of rapping and fixing little things on Easter Sunday. So this is literally hot off the press.
Really?
Just introduced it to our community today. So yeah, it's only available to pro members. but
Nice.
but there's no extra cost or anything like that. It's just part of their. I wanted something that I could just give everybody to use for this purpose, and nobody wants another $200 a month subscription, so I'm glad to be able to do that for those
Yeah,
peeps.
adding value. I like it. Oh, so Steve, I mean, do you have anything? Are you holding anything overnight? Are you gonna?
Not much. I mean, I've if I have an iron condor that's already flipped that has no risk, I'm holding those all day all day all night overnight. But anything that has risk, I'm still not doing a whole lot overnight. Like let's say I put on a double calendar and I'm not able to remove the risk before the end of the day. There have been certain times where I'll just close half of it and I'll hold half of it overnight. But other than that, yeah, I'm not holding any iron condors. I'm not doing any longer duration stuff. Everything for the most part, from a risk standpoint, has been intraday still.
I like it. I like it. And so, are you? I'm in your community. I'm watching. How many of these are you doing a day? I mean, there's days where you might put one or two on. There's days where you might put one on. I haven't seen many days yet that where you don't put one on. Are you finding opportunities right now in this market to put a couple on every day?
Almost every day. Today's kind of one of the first days in a while that I haven't put one on, just really because I was kind of looking for an opportunity. I was trying to maybe be a little bit um, too picky with my entry, and so I didn't put one on because I was kind of waiting for kind of a pump like we just saw, which never happened. Right, the market just kind of opened and then it started going
Yeah,
down.
just
So
straight down.
once vol was already kind of expanding, the ratio was just kind of going sideways to higher. I just was like, I'll just wait. If I probably would have put one on if we weren't doing the show. So, but I haven't done any today, which is the first day in a while. And typically I'm doing anywhere from typically 1 to 3 a day.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard market right now in this sense. If you, especially as the day goes on, and a day like today, I mean, not that we don't really necessarily try to talk macro all the time, but I think the market wants to resolve higher. I mean, I don't think that's like a genius statement. The market always wants to try to resolve higher.
Yep.
I'm a little surprised that we're not down more today. What's interesting is the VIX is overstating, which makes sense. Any move because of the risk overnight. But I don't. Yeah, it's a tough market to like. VIX is high. I think the market does want to resolve higher, but you're just not getting the news. So maybe this is it. Maybe this is catalyst, and I still think they're probably going to make a deal before something happens.
Yeah, I said this on my day trading live stream this morning when the market started moving down. I was like, oh, yep. I mean, it really looks like the market's starting to price in this risk a little bit more, add some more volatility premium, and then it did that, most of the morning. And then all of a sudden we got this pop. I don't know if any news even came out with this. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think there was. I was looking. I don't think there was. I think everyone's kind of waiting to see, and I think probably that was maybe there was a hearsay situation where you're trying to front run something.
Gotta love the fake news tweets. Gotta love the fake news.
Love the fake news tweets. So I mean, it's an interesting, like you think about FOMC, you think about stuff like that, where it's like, are they going to raise rates? What's Powell going to say? It's really hard, I think, for the market to like digest words like we're going to end a civilization tonight. You know what I mean, Steve? Like it's a little like I don't know what
I don't think we've really heard that in our lifetimes.
No. Should you if I was a new trader, I would have put so much money in VIX calls this morning, and I'd be down already on it. But like, you hear stuff like that. But again, the market, you watch the market, and the market will tell you like, yeah, vol's going up, but the price isn't resolving downward. And so I think they're kind of waiting and seeing and going from there. So
yeah, that's what I use the market as my complete kind of real news source. Like my wife will come running in like, did you see what happened? very, anxious and excited, and then I'll look at the market. I'm like, nah, it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. Yeah. I know.
He hates it when I do that, but I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not that big of a deal. The market's not reacting.
Yeah, my friends have kind of stopped telling me, because when I was into trading early on, they'd be like, "Oh, did you see the thing?" And it's like, it's not a big, or vice versa. A lot of times I'll be the one that's like, long before they hear something, I'm like, oh boy. So Steve, last thing I'll ask you, are you doing anything in oil right now, or gold, or any stuff like that?
I'm not. When on that first oil spike, I was going to consider doing some shorting just to kind of catch the relief back down of the overstatement of that spike. And then it started falling too hard, and I thought I kind of missed it. And so I didn't do anything. And then now it's back up to $115, $116 a barrel. And I haven't done anything.
Yeah. It's a tough, man. If you think watching SPX vol is tough, OVX vol, I mean, it is a different animal completely. The skew's all weird and things like that. So, well, Steve,
yeah, I don't even know what to do in that at this point. So I've kind of, I've talked about this before, but I've really just kind of scaled back my trading to really focus in on just a few different things, which is directional day trading for the first hour, double calendars, some price action iron condors. But yeah, in my early days, and when I say my early days, Troy, I mean like last year.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. When I was losing money, now that I'm not losing money. Yeah.
I would want to trade any opportunity there was, or anything. And I've kind of, I don't know, Troy, I've kind of grown up. I'm starting to grow up. I think I'm starting to mature.
Steve, I mean, listen, it happens at different times, but some people I'm on the long trajectory of growth, I think. So
I feel like I've just finally hit my trading puberty.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. So if you guys are new to day trading, or you want to get into day trading, I would suggest tomorrow would be a really good day. Like, join Navigation, because I bet tomorrow morning's session is going to be really fun. Like, I'll probably be listening in when I can tomorrow morning to Steve's session, because I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities one way or another for a day trading environment tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and what you're referring to is just anytime there is an expanded range of follow through in either direction, that's when you really make money. The hardest, like yesterday, I lost money day trading. I kept my losses small, but I had 3 losers because I just got chopped up. If you look at the price action of just the S&P 500 yesterday, it flushed through pre-market highs and then immediately reversed, went down to pre-market lows, immediately. There's zero follow through. Those are the hardest days to day trade directionally. But yeah, anytime you got a day like today, you got an expansive move lower, and I caught the move in with puts in Tesla. And then, yeah, to your point, tomorrow you would assume will be a big, expansive, some type of range day in one direction or multiple directions. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, but it'll be fun. Join Navigation. You get day trading, you get DCs, you get tools to look at DCs. You're a generous man, Steve. I've always said that about you. So, any other closing thoughts for the day? Otherwise, just watching a civilization's last breathing moments.
Go get your popcorn.
Just go get your popcorn. I might, Steve. I don't know what you're doing about 8 to 10 tonight, but I might reach out to say, hey, are we going to do a last minute live ES trading show tonight?
I might be down for that.
Be on the lookout, guys. So, all right, everybody. Well, listen, be safe out there. Don't go crazy. To Steve's point about puberty, you don't need to trade it.
You never know what you're going to get when you tune in to the Navigation Trading Show. We could be talking about young men's life cycle. You never know.
No, you never know. But you don't need to trade the action. I say that as someone who's 100% going to trade the action tonight. So anyway, you guys be safe.